I mean, kind of second quarter again, up 11. I don't think y'all made a field goal the last 7. And that kind of obviously flipped them things. So just kind of what happened there where they were kind of able to make things difficult.
They, start pressuring us, got up out of our sets, and after that, we just broke down. I think spacing wasn't right, execution wasn't there after that first quarter. So we just got to be better in that area.
There's a real possibility that it is just you and Dame is the two ball handlers to start the playoffs, not knowing when Giannis may or may not come back. How do you guys keep out of those moments where there is too much isolation and you guys aren't moving the ball? Like, how do you try to stay on?
That's something that we have to be better as far as executing. Once the play breaks down, what is our actually going to be our flow of offense? It hasn't been there the last couple of games, so we got to figure out how to get better at that. Once the play breaks down, what are we going to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And our spacing and whatnot.
You guys close the season losing 8 of 11, I think it is. I haven't experienced a stretch like that with you guys for the last 6 years. How do you guys try to leave that in the past and just move on to the playoffs?
It's a new season with the postseason, but at the same time, you don't want to leave in the past. You want to, look at those games and figure out what went wrong and, find a way to correct those.
You've got the Pacers in the playoffs. Obviously, you guys faced them 5 times in the regular season. What improvements have you seen from your team since you last met them?
It's been up and down for us. They're a completely different team. We've been trying to figure things out up and down all season long. So it's going to be a great week of practice, I think. Getting back to the basics, figuring out what we need to do, figure out how to get better and get ready for a great Indiana team.
There were a lot of emotions in those games against the Pacers. The playing game, obviously just things back and forth between you guys. Like, do you envision that carrying over? How do you guys prevent that carrying over to this playoff matchup going into it?
Yeah, when you get to the playoffs, stakes are higher, so the emotions are going to be high at the same time. So you might be able to expect more or see more because, there's more on the line, season on the line at this point. But we have to find a way to keep our emotions in check and, focus on the game, not let our emotions take us away from the game.
Last year, as a one, you experienced the play-in for the first time, sort of sitting around and waiting to find out. This is more traditional. You know who you have. Is a preference to any degree like that? You got an opponent to watch for 5-6 days as opposed to a day and a half.
I think the coaches they probably like that a little bit more. It's probably easier on them from the hours after depending on watching film and coming up with scouting reports. So I think they're maybe a little bit happier. They don't have to sit and wait around a couple more days and try to scout 4 or 5 different teams. We know who we're playing now, so they get right to work on this player.
For you, did that matter at all in any way like that?
We don't do as much preparation as the coaches, so that's more on them. The more hours they have to clock in and whatnot. For us, we try to get our minds right, our bodies right for anybody. And then once we get that scouting report, we go from there.
Out of the All-Star break, it felt like you guys had figured out your transition defense, and then recently, last 10, 11 games, it's popped back up where it's been a problem. Do you feel like you guys are a better transition defense team now?
I think so. I think we've been better. I think for the main part, our transition defense comes from, our offense. Poor balance. Sometimes the shot selection gets us in trouble and the spacing gets us in trouble. I think if we correct that can help our transition defense.
So we know that your teammates look to you because of your high basketball IQ, your leadership skills. Doc was also saying today Pat Bev has a very high basketball IQ. I noticed him pulling you two to the side to talk to you. We don't know exactly what was discussed, but can you speak to that, having another guy like that with that high IQ? Not to say your other teammates don't, but,
No, it's just, him seeing the game, seeing different things that we could try to get out of different matchups, different type of rotations, different matchups, just, talking the game. The more teammates you have talking the game, the more you can figure out things. And, we all want to be together out there. So, talking gets everybody on the same page.
Giannis, who knows, for first game, second game, whatever it may be, does some of the things you work through this back half of the season, different lineups, I know you want him on the floor, but does that help at all? Or does it make it a little tougher being like, well, we're just going to put in a guy in game 2 or you know what I mean? Like, is there any concern there in terms of just being ready but not knowing if he's available or not?
As far as I know, he's out. So, he didn't play the last 2 games, so we have to, have that mindset that he's not going to be there playing. So we have to get ready with the guys we have available.
Last year during that Heat series, there was always the will he, won't he, once he got hurt. How does that impact a team not quite knowing if he's ready or not.
Like I said, I mean, we have to, stay focused on who we know is available. We can't beg him or, try to rush him back or keep asking him. He's going to come back when he's ready. So we have to do a great job of, playing together, trying to pick up the slack that he's out for. Just focus on who's out there. When he's ready, he'll come back, and then we'll incorporate in our game plan and whatnot.
You obviously had a lot of starts and stops and stuff physically for your season. Going into the playoffs, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like this is the spot you want to be to make a run, deep run?
Feel great, ready to go.
The most minutes you've played in a game is 38 and a half this year. Do you feel like if you need a 40, 45-minute game, you have one of those in you?
I think so, for sure, yeah.
Speaking of who is available, Dame, he said, I'm thinking back to October and how we start. He's like, we're still that same team, and that same sort of, excitement level. So he's available. This is going to be your first run with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. What does that feel like to know? Okay, you've kind of been through 82, and now he's here for this, right? To help you all,
No, yeah, I think we're all expecting him to raise it up a level. We're all expecting each other to raise it up a level. It's not just going to be all on him to carry us whether Giannis is playing or not. Everybody knows his history. Everybody knows he's a great playoff performer, but he can't win it by himself. So we all have to do our job and step up and play winning basketball.